It's my great pleasure to welcome you all here today, students, faculty, family, and friends, for this year's commencement. My name is Shlomo Engelson Argamon, and I'm the chair of the Computer Science Department of the Illinois Institute of Technology. We are here today to recognize you, our graduates, and your achievements. I wish we could by now be gathered together properly on campus and in person. Alas, we must again be contented with a virtual celebration. But we look forward to the day that we can invite you to return to campus so we can congratulate each of you in person. To begin our virtual celebration today, I'd like to introduce Lance Fortnow, Dean of the College of Computing, to say a few words.
Hello, I'm Lance Fortnow, Dean of the College of Computing. Congratulations to all of you finishing your degree this weekend, and to your families and friends who've supported and stood by you in these challenging times. I wish I could be there shaking hands with each and every one of you, and still hope to do so in the future. You are the first graduating class for this College of Computing, which started last June. You're also the last graduating class, born mainly in the 90s. I'd like to take this opportunity to look back and see the transformation of computing in these early parts of the 21st century that led us to this college. In the 90s, computing was mostly done on top of desks, and the commercial internet was just getting started. Around 2005, computing migrated to the cloud that helped create social networks to keep us connected, smartphones so that we're always online, and apps that powered companies like Uber and DoorDash. All created data, petabytes of information. Then came the rebirth of machine learning, not so much due to new algorithms, but building on faster computers, eating up all that massive data. Things we thought impossible: elimination of spam, understanding speech, face recognition, language translation, became just corollaries of learning on huge amounts of data. Devices became connected, the so-called Internet of Things, giving them the power of the internet, collecting data, feeding the learning machine. The future of computing seems limitless. This power grew faster than we can tame it. We leave more and more decision-making to the machines, decisions that can amplify the biases in our society. Large private tech companies know everything about us and control what information we can see, and that information is the power to change elections and topple governments. Foreign governments breaking into our systems have turned cyberspace into the next battleground. We're seeing a growing divide between the haves and the have-nots, and a pandemic that has been accelerating all this change. That's why we have a College of Computing at Illinois Tech, because computing and data now dominates our society, and every student, not just in the college, but across the university, needs to understand what we can do with data and how best to use it to make responsible decisions. And so we send you out there, you, the first class of College of Computing graduates, to do great things with the power of computing data and to do them with the proper restraints while keeping us safe. Make us proud. We're rooting for you.
Thank you, Dean Fortnow. Today, we're gathered here virtually to recognize our graduates' accomplishments and to honor each of you as a 2021 graduate of the Illinois Tech Computer Science Department. I only wish we could now be together in person with your parents, families, and friends to share this great moment. The last year and a half have been very difficult. I am proud of and grateful to our students for how you supported each other through this time, to our faculty who worked hard to enable all of our students to get the best education and experience possible, and to all the parents, families, and friends who've supported our students in their educational quests, which were made far more difficult by the pandemic. 2021 graduates, congratulations. Your hard work at Illinois Tech has set the foundation for your future professional success. You are now graduating at a time of enormous cultural, social, and economic challenge and upheaval, due in part to the pandemic, which has disrupted your time at Illinois Tech. It has not been easy. And yet, as the world faces these challenges, you're now graduating Illinois Tech into computer science, the very profession that will be central to addressing them. Indeed, without your field, we couldn't even have this virtual event today. Ironically, it's us, the computer scientists, the stereotypical socially inept geeks, who are the ones that now enable people to remain connected with one another in these times. The fact is, the practice of computer science is intimately intertwined with human relationships. The systems that we create now mediate and shape human society in profound ways, both beneficial and harmful. We ignore the human consequences to our and the world's peril. Now, many of you will go on from here to become great innovators, researchers, developers, entrepreneurs. The world truly is your oyster. And yet, as you go on to build, I urge that you never lose yourself in the fascinating technical world of our discipline, seeking only the more powerful, the more efficient, the more elegant. Always also consider very carefully the larger and more fundamental computational system of people and relationships and organizations within which your work is embedded. This is not only a technical, but more importantly, a moral imperative. Algorithms are now used to recommend, well, really to decide what news you see, who a company should hire or fire, who to parole from jail, and a lot more. While those who buy and use these systems are told and they accept that the algorithm's decisions are objective, we computer scientists, we know better. We know the many, many degrees of freedom that people, the software designers and developers, had in these systems' creation. People's lives depend on those degrees of freedom. That is, they will depend on you. In this and in many other ways, the future of our field and its enormous effects on the world depend crucially on us learning and nurturing a fundamentally human perspective on our work, one which will influence not only which applications we develop, but the evolution of the field of computer science itself. Illinois Tech was founded 130 years ago on the idea that a first-rate technical education could enable people to change their lives and their world for the better. We've endeavored to give you that education. The rest is up to you. Graduates of 2021, I cannot wait to see what wonders you create. Dream high, work hard, celebrate your successes, both large and small. And as of today, you join the ranks of Illinois Tech alumni. Bear that title proudly as you go on with your lives, and please stay in touch with the department. Wherever you may go, we here at Illinois Tech will follow your future accomplishments with very keen enthusiasm. Congratulations. And now, today's undergraduate commencement speaker will be introduced by Senior Lecturer Matthew Bauer, CS Undergraduate Coordinator.
I'm honored to introduce our undergraduate student speaker, Arushi Rai. Arushi came to IIT in 2017, having been awarded a Camera Scholarship for her academic and leadership potential, and she certainly did not disappoint. When first advising Arushi, I noted that she was very interested in opportunities beyond the required curriculum. She completed an REU in high-performance computing at IIT before her first term, a study abroad in Germany in her second semester, which she extended into a gap semester of freelancing, an Elevate research experience in computer vision in her third summer, and another REU at University of Central Florida on computer vision in her final summer. Arushi also was a CS Lab TA, an ARC supplemental instructor, and graduated magna cum laude. And this fall, she is entering a doctoral program at the University of Pittsburgh, doing multimodal machine learning research with Dr. Andrea Kovaska. We're very proud of her accomplishments, anticipate more great things from Arushi. May I present Arushi Rai.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You've made it. I am so honored to be here speaking on behalf of our student community on our accomplishments today. Thank you. Believe it or not, I recently finished watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know, it's only 13 years late, but better late than never. For those of you who need a recap, the Avatar, the main character, needs to save the world from the imperialistic Fire Nation. However, he is woefully underprepared. So, the Avatar and his friends split from the group from time to time to cultivate their talents, making the 5 of them stronger together, until they finally defeat the Fire Nation. This 3-season masterpiece wraps up at Uncle Iroh's tea shop. It looked like an ordinary gathering between these friends, reminiscent of their daily adventures over the last year. The only difference was that it was during peacetime. So why did it sound so sad? Then you start to realize that after this celebration, their common journey ends and that they will go their own separate ways. To be honest, it felt a bit gloomy. For this brief yet consequential moment in our lives, in our stories, our paths have intersected, and now we stand at the precipice of splitting our own way. Unknowingly, we have written parts in each other's stories. I want to share some of these stories and reflect on what it means to graduate from Illinois Tech. what did we overcome and what did we share? When you joined Illinois Tech, you definitely did not join for its parties, but there are still moments that you feel like this is Illinois Tech. Like when we had late night events during spring semester where suddenly MTCC gets transformed into a futuristic disco arcade and Commons food suddenly tastes good. Or when you would hop on ITSC and share some memes about your classes or current events, or even to observe drama. I know you guys did. Or when we had school-wide competitions like Pitch, which invoked the entrepreneurial spirit in our fellow computer science students. Or if you spent weekend after weekend building stuff at hackathons like a sport. Our school spirit may not be conventional, but it comes out in clever and fun ways that are so uniquely Illinois Tech. We crushed the toughest systems courses unscathed. I mean, we had to do Malak Lab, everyone. And if that wasn't hard enough for you, then we had to do PISA. My lab mates and I were so stressed by this lab that we started thinking about going to a kitten cafe to relieve stress. But we thought, oh, $20 is too much to spend. So we resorted to Facebook and found a posting of someone that's trying to give away their kittens. And we thought, okay, let's just go play. But the next thing you know, we ended up with a kitten each. That's right, Professor Hill's operating systems class saved 3 kittens. And when we finally finished PISA, the rest of the course became a breeze and taught us that we can solve any problem if we just keep pushing ourselves. As I'm sure most of you have noticed, our courses are pretty systems and algorithms oriented. In fact, a lot of us really thought that we could get away with ever having to write a single line of HTML. But we had database organization and software engineering to humble us. It is after you try to place a button in a particular part of the screen that you realize, A, HTML is not easy, and B, you're even worse at estimating how much time this piece of code will take. And then there were moments where we surprised ourselves by our tenacity as we slogged through projects and problem sets one after another over and over semester after semester. I want to acknowledge that this was even rougher during COVID, where it felt like every hour of the day was occupied with work and lectures weren't just for learning and watching, but also a moment to multitask because you're at home. Completing our last 3 semesters during a global pandemic is an extraordinary achievement and proof of how resilient you are. You adapted to Zoom classes, innovated various workarounds to make your education work for you. Whether that meant learning from the bed, the dinner table, or a yoga mat, you did it. You also probably made an online friend during this distance learning, a friend that you've probably never met before but shared this last few semesters with. We have all gained skills that no other class before us had attained in such a short period of time. Our important senior year courses like software engineering or graduate electives required heavy coursework and teamwork. Relegating this online pushed us to pick up coordination, time management, and communication skills to break through the barriers of online learning. Additionally, it was no easy task to be empathetic and flexible to various hurdles in each other's lives. We often forget that we are, in fact, in a global pandemic. We are simply just trying to survive. But you did more than just survive. You thrived. Some of you even mastered the art of watching nearly a quarter worth of lectures right before the final. For those of you watching at 2x speed, I bet you're a time bender. Either way, this was remarkable. I also commend student leaders for standing up during these last 3 semesters. I know it was not easy to schedule events and have only a few people show up. But helping a few is better than helping none. So I applaud you for your contributions to the soul of our community and for the continuation of our school organizations. During these rough times, we saw how important all forms of computer science were, like building dashboards that presented number of cases and other metrics that would give us a tiny bit more information regarding this situation that had the whole world baffled and on pause. Or being able to depend on applications like Instacart or Uber to get us through our daily activities in a safe manner. Or applications like Discord, which was home to our CS at IIT server that preserved the closest thing to community during the shift to online learning. Or in our immediate environment, having online video conferencing tools like Zoom or Blackboard. I know some of you might not be happy with Zoom or Blackboard. Whatever the case may be, there's no denying that the applications of our field are tied to nearly every industry and every aspect of our lives. Yielding this enormous power of being able to build technology and disperse it on a scale is a grave responsibility, and it's our duty to guard it and hold ourselves to the highest ethical standards. We have slowly grown out of these toy problems and learning without consequence. We will continue to learn and grow beyond college, but the stakes will be higher, and we must account for the increasing scale of our impact, of any decision that's not well thought through, of letting our biases come in the way. We have grown out of our little playground, and now the gates to the real world are open a bit wider. Whether it was walking into the wrong class, or staying up all night to finish projects, or adopting kittens, I'm grateful for all of the friends that I made during my time at IIT. Thank you to the computer science department for catalyzing these experiences for not just me, but for the rest of my classmates. I'm starting to think that the ending to Avatar was not that sad after all. It may be bittersweet, but it is true to reality. What had brought these characters together was not because they were there to serve the Avatar. Instead, it was the Fire Nation that had affected each person individually. They each had their own individual stories, dreams, and motivations beyond defeating the Fire Nation. They had to rebuild the world in order to be true to themselves and achieve their potential. Like Team Avatar, we must envision how to rebuild our world post-pandemic in our own ways and suitable to our own strengths. Congratulations on joining the ranks of Illinois Tech alumni that have changed the world and are changing the world. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, Arushi Rai. We also have a graduate speaker to represent graduating graduate students. At this time, I would like to ask Professor Bogdan Karel, Associate Department Chair, to introduce the graduate student speaker.
My name is Bogdan Karel, and I am Associate Chair of the Computer Science Department at IIT. I have the honor of introducing Hariharan Devarajan as a graduate student speaker for this computer science commencement. Hariharan is an exceptional student. He joined our department as a PhD student in the fall 2016. His PhD research has focused on distributed storage systems. He was a research assistant on the National Science Foundation grant with Professor Sun. His research has produced 20 papers in prestigious conferences and journals. He was awarded the best paper in the High Performance Parallel and Distributed Computing Conference for his work on label-based I/O systems. This was a great achievement. He actively collaborates with research labs, with an Argonne National Lab, Sandia National Lab, and the Hierarchical Data Format Group. And now, please join me in welcoming Hariharan Devarajan as a graduate student speaker for this year's Computer Science Commencement. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Correll. It's my great honor to thank my advisor, Dr. Zianason, other esteemed members of the faculty, proud parents, my wife, other devoted members of my family, and not to mention my chirpy friends. So, we made it. Congratulations to all of us, especially to the fabulous class of 2021 IIT graduates. Back in grad school, the word scientist evoked images of wiry-haired, slightly maniac geeks decked out in a white lab coat with swirling beakers full of colored and bubbling fluids. This image was fairly well reinforced through tons of science fiction movies. Although fun to watch, I had little desire to emulate these lofty role models, and I would be surprised if any of my peers did either. So how did I end up here today, about to receive a valuable piece of paper enabling me to become a bona fide scientist? There is a strong likelihood that, like all of you, I was bit by a curiosity bug. For the longest time I remember, I was fascinated by computers, how they work, my dad working on WordStar, or what was an OS. I always loved to see an open CPU and would spend hours watching my brother assembling CPUs for my dad, often breaking them and eventually fixing them after many sleepless nights. Regardless of how this passion initially emerged, we are sitting here today at least partly because at some point in our lives we decided to contribute to AI's domination to the world. I came to the US, like many of us here, to pursue my master's degree in computer science. I would have never imagined getting my doctorate degree after 5 years. My advisor seemed to have seen a spark in me and he asked me to join the PhD program directly. It was a daring decision as I never saw myself as an avid reader or a great intellect. I just knew my way around computers, so I imagined for the longest time that I would work for a big multinational engineering company building products. I'm standing here today due to the constant motivation from my dear friend Anthony and the encouragement that my family showered. One thing I have learned in my 5 years of PhD is to explore new venues. I was constantly challenged to adapt and evolve as a PhD student. In these COVID 19 times, I have experienced presenting and attending online conferences. Even my proposal and defense happened online. The silver lining in all this is that I was able to attend conferences all over the globe, and all my friends and family attended my defense presentation. I would like to motivate all of us to always stay positive and challenge ourselves to keep exploring options without the fear of failing. As Winston Churchill once said, success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. I thought about what I would say regards to my concluding piece. As you are my peers, I can impart only a few kernels of wisdom from my experiences as we have shared them. All I can do is make two suggestions. First, there will be moments in your life when you will have a chance to be a mentor to someone. For many of us, this will happen when we become parents. For all of us, we will be teachers in some way or the other. I will ask you to accept this responsibility and do it wisely, as someone out there has already done it for you. Second, remember that we live in an imperfect world and we have inherited the responsibility to make this world a better place for everyone in any shape or form we can take. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and congratulations, Hariharan Devarajan. We will now present a roll call of the names of the graduates whom we honor today. now ask our faculty and staff to join me in congratulating those whose achievements we honor here today. Congratulations.
Hello, this is Guria Colinescu, and you might know me from my classes on algorithms, theory of computation, and combinatorial optimization. I congratulate you for your graduation in 2021 and wish you success in your professional career. Thank you for attending Illinois Institute of Technology.
Hello, everybody. This is Yuan. Big congratulations on your graduation. I'm so proud of your achievements. You have made enough efforts and you totally deserve it. I wish you the best for your future endeavors, and please keep us updated and don't forget to come back to the campus occasionally.
Greetings and congratulations to all the graduates of the Computer Science Department at IIT. We're proud of your accomplishments. As an IIT alum myself, I'd love to hear about your career after IIT. Please keep in touch and congratulations.
Just wanted to say congratulations to the class of 2021. Sorry you didn't get to celebrate in person, but I know you're going to go on to do great things. And hope you have an in-person celebration sometime soon.
I thank you all for attending this virtual ceremony, and I extend my warmest congratulations to our graduates and their families today. You can all be very proud of your accomplishments. It's been a real pleasure for me and the rest of the faculty teaching and getting to know you over the last few years. We're honored to have you among the alumni of our computer science department, and we wish you all of the best for a lifetime of professional success and personal fulfillment. I hope, not before too long, to also be able to congratulate you all in person. Thank you all and congratulations.